Have you ever felt like life has broken you into pieces? Like everything you've built, everything you believed about yourself, has crumbled into dust? Maybe you've been trying so hard to hold it all together, but no matter what you do, it feels like life keeps pressing harder, breaking you apart piece by piece. You feel unformed, incomplete, like a lump of clay that's been tossed aside, forgotten, and left to harden in the cold. But what if I told you that those broken pieces, those cracks and imperfections, are not the end of your story? What if they're just the beginning? Today, I want to share a truth with you, one that could completely transform how you see yourself, your struggles, and your worth. A truth that starts not with your brokenness, but with the hands of the potter, who is ready to reshape and refine you into something extraordinary. Today, I want to tell you a story, a truth that has changed my life. A truth that could change how you see yourself, your struggles, and your worth. It's a truth that begins not with your brokenness, but with the hands of the potter. Hands that are steady, intentional, and full of love. Hands that are ready to reshape you, refine you, and turn what feels like failure into a masterpiece. Are you ready to hear it? I've been there, feeling like I had no direction, wondering if I could ever be made whole again. There were moments in my life when I felt like the pieces of who I was had been scattered so far, there was no way they could ever come together again. I questioned my worth, my purpose, and even whether God could still use someone as broken as me. But then I came across a verse that stopped me in my tracks. A verse that gave me hope, and more importantly, a new perspective on who I really am, and whose hands I'm in. It wasn't just a fleeting moment of comfort, it was a truth that began to reshape how I saw myself. It reminded me that my brokenness was never beyond repair, and neither is yours. So, let me take you on a journey. A journey to understand what it truly means to be shaped by the potter's hand. To see the beauty in being crafted with purpose, even when the process feels messy and hard. To know that every turn of the wheel and every press of his fingers is full of intention and love. Are you ready to discover the masterpiece the potter is creating in you? Section 1. The Potter and the Clay, Jeremiah chapter 18 verse 6. In Jeremiah chapter 18 verse 6, God says, "Like clay in the hand of the potter, so are you in my hand, declares the Lord." This verse is more than just a poetic idea. It's a profound truth about how God sees us. In his eyes, we're not just broken or discarded. No, he sees us as clay, moldable, shapeable, and able to be made into something new. We're not finished products, we're works in progress. God isn't looking at our imperfections and saying, "That's it, they're beyond help." Instead, he's looking at us with eyes full of love, ready to shape us for his purpose. Think of a potter at his wheel. As the clay spins, it looks messy, perhaps uneven or flawed. There's pressure, there's heat, and it might feel like it's being torn apart at times. But in the potter's hands, every movement is deliberate. Every press, every gentle pull of the hands has a purpose. Though it's messy, it's all leading to something beautiful. Section 2. The Refining Process. You see, the refining process isn't always easy. Life has a way of pressing down on us, squeezing us, and stretching us in ways that feel painful. At times, it can feel like we're being pushed to our limits, like there's too much pressure for us to handle. But what if I told you that this pressure, these struggles, are part of the refining process? They're shaping us into something stronger, something more beautiful. Think about it. If clay were left in its raw, untouched form, it would remain a lump, unable to fulfill its true potential. But when it's worked on by the hands of the potter, it becomes something useful, something of value. Without the potter's touch, that lump of clay remains just that, a lump. But with skilled hands, it transforms. It could become a vase, a bowl, a work of art, something that serves a purpose and brings beauty into the world. That's what God is doing with you, even when you feel like you're being pressed too hard. He's shaping you, and though it hurts at times, you're becoming something greater than you ever imagined. Section 3. Trusting the process. I know it's hard, though. It's easy to look at our lives, especially when things aren't going the way we hoped, and wonder if God's hands are truly steady. But let me tell you something, his hands never falter. Even when it feels like you're falling apart, God's hands are steady, loving, and precise. I once heard a story about a potter who deliberately broke a finished piece of pottery. It had been shaped, fired, and looked perfect. But instead of discarding it, the potter broke it, reworked the pieces, and turned it into something even more beautiful, a piece that couldn't have been made without the breaking. That's how God works. He's never going to give up on you. Even when you feel like the pressure is too much, or you feel like your life is being shattered, He's there, rebuilding you. Not to make you the same, but to make you something better, something even more amazing than before. You see, God doesn't just repair you in the way we might expect. He refines you, He redefines you. He takes what seems like brokenness and turns it into beauty. And He does it with love, with intention, and with purpose. When you feel unseen, when it seems like no one truly understands what you're going through, I want you to remember this. The Potter sees you. He doesn't just glance at you, He knows every detail. He sees the parts of you that feel broken, the cracks you try to hide, and the struggles you carry silently. And yet, He doesn't turn away. Instead, He draws closer, gently shaping you with His hands, full of love and care. He sees not just what you are now, but what you can become. He calls you His masterpiece, not because you're perfect, but because you're His. Crafted with purpose, with intention, and with a future that only He can see. You may feel like a lump of unshaped clay, but in the hands of the Potter, you are a work of art in progress. Doesn't that truth fill your heart with hope? To know that even in the mess, even in the moments where you feel like you're falling apart, God is molding you into something extraordinary? He's not rushing the process, and He's not leaving you to figure it out on your own. His hands are steady, His vision is clear, and His love for you is unshakable. Take a moment. Picture yourself as clay on the Potter's wheel. Imagine His hands, strong yet gentle, working on you, carefully shaping every detail with precision. Do you see it? That's the truth of who you are. You're not forgotten, you're not discarded. You're being made into something beautiful, something only the Potter can create. What's one area of your life where you'll trust the Potter's hand today? Share it in the comments. I'd love to pray for you. If this message spoke to you, pass it along to someone who might need this reminder. You're in the Potter's hand. You are loved, shaped, and deeply valued by the Creator of the universe. Whispers of Truth.